Roblox is boring. There you go, I said it. But not a day goes by where I don't open up the Roblox front page and search for something fun, for it only to be dominated by bright, brainrot, wait in line, RNG, gambling, clicker, anime, game simulators. And I'll say it now, I understand these games are targeted at kids who are just looking for something simple to play and understand, and whose devices aren't really able to handle anything too complex. Even I myself have spent an hour or two in these mind-numbing experiences, blinded by the rainbow colors and constant UI pop-ups non-stop. But I think Roblox can do better than this. Yes, I know Roblox is mostly played by kids, but what if it could be different? What if there was a game that wasn't just repetitive numbing tasks with everything jumping brightly at you for your attention? A place where the grass isn't neon green? What if there was a game simple enough for children to understand but also enjoyable enough for older players like myself to commit to? I want a game that's like a breath of fresh air, something to relax with and enjoy. A game that I'm not going to close within 20 seconds because of how overstimulating it is. So that's when I decided to get to work. This is episode 1 of my devlogs, where I record my progress in making a new Roblox game. Welcome to the start of my journey, in hopes of making a game that everyone can truly enjoy. But before we start, I have some bad news. I may have lost all of the footage from day 1 to 4. Now, hear me out. This isn't my fault. I wasn't planning on uploading to YouTube and I just posted daily videos on TikTok. After I edited the videos, I just deleted the footage because they took up hella space, so unfortunately, we're missing the first 4 days of this journey. But I can recap them. On day 1, I mainly built a few different varieties of trees and placed them around half the tutorial island. This is what it was looking like when I was done. On day 2, I started building a humble little cottage, sticking to a blocky design with neutral colours that didn't require sunglasses to look at. I think the blocky design is almost like a hallmark of Roblox. I mean, of course, now with meshes and everything else, we can make crazy detailed games on Studio. But considering that Roblox started off as limited with blocks and studs, I wanted to encapsulate this in my build style. The build turned out pretty good considering I had never worked on Roblox Studio before. I mean, this is completely new to me. Like, this is my first Roblox game ever. I was a Minecraft build admin during COVID lockdown, so I had some experience with builds generally, but yeah, not bad. On day 3, I built a blacksmith and a market stand. You can kind of see that I was following the comments I got on TikTok a little bit just to build viewer engagement. I then also pasted trees on the other half of the island. I also just wanted to mention at this point, I had gotten the seasons down, which was just a script that changed the colors of the tree parts after a specified amount of time. The script wasn't perfect though, since the script called on the wrong folder of parts and the sand and the beach also changed colors. On day 4, I figured out that lighting was an issue in my game since it got too dark at night, so I spent the day making lamps and spread them throughout the map. I also added a script that made sure they only turned on during the night and not the day. This is what the island was looking like. I also added a seating area at the top of the mountain, which took a few goes since I tend to always forget to anchor things as a builder, oops. Anyways, that's what I got done and this was what the map was looking like. Okay, wonderful, we made it, hooray! Now for me with the actual footage that I have left. On day 5, I wanted to add more detail to the game by doing the interior of the tutorial house. I think details are super important to making a game feel more immersive and less bland. There's so much detail in real life and I think it's paramount that we recreate such details to make the experience as captivating as possible. I added a bunk bed, bookshelf and fireplace. You can see me start to experiment more with unions inside rather than just whole parts, which is cool. I also did steal some models from the toolbox. So this was what the inside was looking like. You can also see the NPC outside that I started working on to make the tutorial guide possible. So yeah, the house is looking very cute and cozy with no bright ass colors inside. This is the kind of vibe that I wanted to establish and maintain throughout my game. After that, I started working on modeling a cat. I wanted to spread cats out throughout the island and have like a hidden quest to find and pat all of them for a badge or something, so this was the cat that I ended up making. After that, I wanted to add sleeping particles, and this was the first time I encountered the dreaded particle emitter. It's kind of funny rewatching these videos back as I edit this, because I remember being so confused as to how it worked back then. Like, you can see me thinking in real time, just trying to figure it out. But now, like 1 or 2 weeks later, I use these so frequently and comfortably, it's like a second nature. So for any learning game devs out there, not that I'm a pro, I just wanted to promise you that it does get easier with more experience. You just have to push past the first few, what the hell am I doing, before you get there. Anyway, this was what I managed to get it to look like after 25 minutes, which this is meant to be a 5-minute job by the way, and I thought it looked pretty good. Okay, now day 6 is where things start to get a bit more serious. Days 1 to 5 was mostly just world building and getting the map ready, but day 6 is where the scripting and game mechanics begin. Most of you, unless you follow my TikTok, are probably wondering what the game is about, which is fair enough. Every game needs a clear objective or motif for players to follow. The motif of my game is to catch birds. I was actually very inspired by the game Fish because at the time when I started making my game, it was finally a new up-and-coming front page game that wasn't like a brainrot simulator. You can kind of tell my build style is very inspired and similar, even though I can't quite get all the different details and textures right. Obviously, I'm not seeking to make a clone of the game, but I wanted my game to be pretty much Fish but with birds, you know? And a bit more level directed and not so open world, and kind of also follow a bit of a storyline. I wanted to make a bit of a plot line for players to follow, and along the way explore, discover and catch birds and find different mutations that the birds can have. So the first part to catching birds is to making a net and animating it. This was also my first time working with humanoids, tools and animating, so it was a long process. You can also see I had a go at making UIs for the inventory at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, I know. It was a questionable attempt. I use dev forums a lot, which I cannot recommend strongly enough for new developers. Someone else out there has very likely already experienced the problem that you're facing, so there's probably already a solution there. Even if there isn't, you can just still ask questions on a new forum and very likely get an answer. Here's a clip of me animating for the first time. Yes, it's so slow, I know. And this was my first animation. I'm just gonna leave it there. I then deleted it all and started again, which is another message for new developers. Don't be afraid to start fresh because you learn and improve from your previous mistakes. I think this new animation suited my game vibe a lot more, and I was much faster the second time around. I then went and worked on the first bird that you could catch in the game, which was the goose. I had already made a model and animated and scripted it so that it would move randomly on the map whilst playing the walking animation. Here you can see me fixing the overhead UI displaying the goose's health. I was still figuring out the script and frames and how they worked previously, so now that I had a better understanding of it, I went through and redid the colors and sizing to match the aesthetic of the game better. It still took a while, and even then it wasn't perfect, but I took a break for day 6 after that. Day 7, I got back to world building because day 6 took too many of my brain cells. I also got my friend James to help me script instead. He was one of my fellow Minecraft admins during lockdown, and we worked together to build and script a lot of mini games and systems in a public Minecraft server. He's a lot better at scripting than me. I just build and, make things look pretty. Anyway, I had added a lighthouse and wanted to add more greenery to the island since it was looking dead dry. After pasting vines everywhere, I began to address the bigger problem. This map was just looking way too flat with no vertical dimension. In real life, there are hills, grass, bushes, and trees that all vary the height of the ground. So I started by importing some flat plains and bushes and then lifted the entire map upwards so I could add some dimension to the floor. I then pasted these low poly circular plates everywhere, and this is what the map ended up looking like. I think it's a lot more vibrant by the time I was done with it. So there we go. That is what I got done within a week's worth of work on Roblox Studio. If you made it this far, thank you so much for staying and hearing me out. It'd be so great if you could subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments. I want all of your feedback, both positive and negative. Tell me if the video is too long, too short, or if you want more details into the actual workarounds behind the game. I'll post next week's video soon enough, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. You can also join the Discord links below and follow the TikTok account if you want more frequent updates. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys for next week's episode.